From Gramps sacrificing another player to Geum-ja killing her own son, here's every Squid Game Season 3 betrayal. First, let's begin with the betrayal of Gramps toward player 232 during the fourth game, Knives and Keys. As the two entered a new room together, they unexpectedly encountered a red team player already waiting inside. Instead of teaming up with player 232 to either escape or fight off the red player, Gramps made a shocking decision. Without any hesitation, he shoved player 232 further into the room, effectively sacrificing him. To make sure he couldn't escape, Jung-dae slammed the door shut and held it closed from the outside, trapping player 232 inside with the enemy. As a result, player 232 was killed by the red player, while Gramps heard from the other side of the door. Once it was over, Jung-dae opened the door, grabbed player 232's key, and ran off. It was a ruthless act of betrayal, showing that Gramps was willing to sacrifice anyone to survive. The next major betrayal comes from the shaman lady toward her own followers during the fourth game, Knives and Keys. As she was exploring the maze-like rooms of the game, she opened a door and took a step inside. She didn't know that Nam-gyu and Myung-gi were hiding quietly in that very room, waiting to ambush anyone who entered. As soon as she realized the danger, she didn't warn anyone. She slowly backed out of the room, gently closed the door without making a sound, and immediately ran off in the opposite direction. Meanwhile, her loyal followers were right behind her, unaware of what she had just encountered. They stood there confused, asking where she was going and why she was leaving. But the shaman lady didn't say a single word. Not a warning, not a shout, nothing. And before her followers could react, Nam-gyu and Myung-gi burst out of the room and attacked, stabbing two of them without mercy. This moment clearly counts as a betrayal. The shaman lady had the opportunity to save the people who trusted and followed her, but instead, she chose to protect herself. She abandoned them in the most crucial moment, leaving them to die without even trying to help. The third betrayal is once again from Gramps, this time directed at the shaman lady. These were two characters that already weren't particularly liked by fans, and this moment was honestly good for some of the fans, like me. During the fourth game, the shaman lady finally found the exit door. The problem was that she didn't have the final two keys needed to unlock it. She went back into the maze to search for them, and eventually ran into Jung-dae. He just so happened to have the two missing keys, and at first, it looked like they were going to team up. They returned to the exit door together, and as they unlocked it, things took a dark turn. As soon as the door opened and Gramps stepped inside, he immediately pushed the shaman lady out. Without hesitation, he pulled one of the keys out of the lock and closed the door on her, effectively locking her outside. She begged him to open it, but he ignored her completely. With no way to escape, she was left behind. Later on, she was found and killed by Min-soo. It was a brutal betrayal, especially after it looked like they were working together to survive. I would have liked better if the one to survive was the shaman lady, and the one to die was Jung-dae, honestly. Seon-yo is at least funny, but Gramps directly gave me headaches. What do you think? As brutal as that was, however, this next betrayal is even more brutal and crazy. Let's talk about the fourth betrayal, which is honestly one of the most shocking and emotional. We know that Gi-hun and Dae-ho formed a close friendship after meeting again, following the vote to end the first game. They trusted each other and even teamed up for the second game, working well together. Dae-ho was also present during the Mingle game, and while things were tense, he still stood by Gi-hun. Most importantly, he was a key part of the rebellion that Gi-hun planned. Even though the rebellion ultimately failed, Dae-ho did seem like he genuinely cared and wanted to help. At least he tried to help. However, after the failed rebellion, which led to several player deaths including the heartbreaking loss of Young-bae, Gi-hun became furious. He blamed Dae-ho for not delivering the ammunition that could have helped make the rebellion successful. This blame built up inside Gi-hun, and by the time the fourth game began, Gi-hun's only focus was on revenge. Despite their past friendship, Gi-hun hunted Dae-ho down with cold determination. Eventually, he caught him near a trap door, and in a tense and emotional moment, Gi-hun choked Dae-ho to death. It was brutal and incredibly sad considering everything they had been through together. This betrayal hurt because it wasn't just survival, it came from pain, anger, and a complete breakdown of trust. Seeing Gi-hun cross that line showed how far the games had pushed even the best people. The last betrayal of the fourth game, which is also one of the biggest and most unexpected, is the betrayal of Geum-ja to her own son, Young-sik. After the heartbreaking death of Hyunju, Geum-ja and Joon-hee made their way to the exit door, carrying Joon-hee's newborn daughter with them. Just as they were about to use the keys to open the door and leave the game, Young-sik suddenly burst in, visibly distressed and crying. He told his mother that he hadn't killed anyone and that he was going to die if he didn't. Young-sik had a plan in mind. He wanted to kill Joon-hee to meet the game's requirements and survive, but Geum-ja refused to let him do it. As tensions rose, Young-sik, desperate and emotional, pushed his mother to the floor and walked toward Joon-hee, raising his knife. Just when it seemed like he was about to stab her, Geum-ja stood up and, in a shocking moment, stabbed her own son in the back, ending with him. This betrayal hit especially hard. Imagine choosing to protect someone you've known for only a few days over your own child, whom you've loved and raised for probably over 30 years. Although Geum-ja was clearly devastated afterward and even took her own life in a later episode, it doesn't erase what she did. It remains one of the most painful betrayals in the season, unexpected, emotional, and unforgettable. Now, moving on to the final game, the group of O players who had previously allied and supported each other through the brutal challenges ultimately turned on one of their own. The alliance included Gramps, player 353, and player 203. Together, they betrayed fellow O player 039, someone who had trusted them. Despite fighting side by side and relying on each other for survival, the allure of more prize money proved too powerful. Their betrayal wasn't just a tactical move, it was cold. They attacked player 039 in an attempt to increase their potential earnings. As a result of this betrayal and the overwhelming emotional toll, player 039 ended up taking his own life. This moment highlighted a central theme of the games, that no matter how strong a bond may seem, greed and desperation will often lead to betrayal and tragedy. The last betrayal in Season 3 is also one of the most shocking, Myung-gi's betrayal of Gi-hun. After what seemed like a genuine alliance between the two, where they joined forces to take down the remaining O players, Myung-gi suddenly turned on Gi-hun. Without hesitation, he threatened to kill him, showing no remorse, no gratitude, and no emotion whatsoever. Gi-hun had protected the newborn baby, Myung-gi's own daughter, yet Myung-gi still saw him as expendable. He even used the baby as a bargaining chip, going as far as threatening to toss his own child into the void if Gi-hun got too close or tried to fight him. This moment highlighted the depth of Myung-gi's coldness and the overpowering greed that had consumed him. He cared more about the prize money than about any human connection, even with his daughter. His actions throughout the season showed a man who had completely lost his sense of morality. From killing multiple players with ease to betraying his teammates, Myung-gi was irredeemable. So, when he finally met his end, many viewers felt a strange sense of justice. After everything he had done, his death was one of the most satisfying and deserved of the entire season. Squid Game Season 3 showed how trust can break when money and survival are on the line. Friends turned on each other, and even family ties didn't stop betrayal. These moments made the games more intense and emotional. In the end, they remind us how far people might go when pushed to the edge. Thank you for watching this video. See you guys in the next one.